this. I was one of the early, in fact, Echo was one of the early listeners to the VenEx model, and we had a lot of questions for Avinash and Pooja. But I think towards the second interaction we had, we realized the power that VenEx was holding for all of us. Coming from the HR background and trying to hire in a time with pandemic everywhere and people, especially the technology guys, getting offers 3x what Echo was planning to offer. We realized that ESOPs were a great tool for us, but somehow during the pandemic we also felt that the younger generation, they were not very comfortable with how ESOPs played, right? Because they had questions around how would my, like, let's say, 5 lakh worth of money look like in about a year or 3 years time. And we would always fall short of answers. We threw this problem to Avinash and Pooja that this, if this could be solved for us, this is something that we would definitely want to explore. And thankfully they took us through a model which was really very nimble when it came to somebody like me who comes from a non finance background, trying to sell ESOPs to people. It gets really crazy because when you're dealing with people who have framed ESOPs themselves, the kind of questions they have for a startup, they just go crazy. But with the kind of model that they have come up with, we realized that it was not just the hiring that we will be able to at least iron out a bit, but we also realized that during this time of endlessly trying to recruit people, we had somewhere created a differentiation when it came to the salaries. So we also felt that while Pooja and Avinash are talking about VenEx as a model mostly for hiring, I think it's a great tool for retaining the best of the performers in your company, and it's also the right tool to go ahead and do the salary correction. So that's where at least the two things we see, it would definitely help Echo when we deploy VenEx. The third I feel is that ESOPs. We've on letters we have gone ahead and issued what do you call, letters with a certain amount of ESOPs being issued to people. But somewhere the practicality of ESOPs for a company like Echo in a time like pandemic was not the right story that people wanted to hear. The right from people who are currently in the company, and also the ones who were more like a potential candidates for us. So there we realized that opening up the model and explaining to people as to how would this be very different from ESOPs, but definitely secure the future of not just the company, but also about the interest that they are going to invest their mind into. We realize that this is something that is definitely going to help us in a time mostly because of how situation is today. I would say had pandemic not hit and had people been okay with how ESOPs were running and the kind of people we were hiring back then, it would have been still okay to deal with the problem, giving them a letter which stated that this is the amount of ESOPs they would be issued, etc., without them actually having a I would say more like a plug and play kind of a model wherein they felt they could be a part of the entire decision making, and it not just vesting on the head of finance or head of HR to decide as to what is the amount they could invest in. So I would say it's a great model, and I'm really excited